The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the show. It's brought to you in association with Levi Solicitors, who will offer you that 10% discount on your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Dan, Michael and Moscow here to tell you that you can actually get an extended, bigger, huger Levi's discount.
Even more bigger?
Even more bigger, yep. Greater than that one. Details of which can be found on the Phil Hay Monday Club, to give it its official name, the new show we've launched with Phil on Mondays. Go back and listen to that. Listen to the next one that comes out. Special discount.
And you only have to listen to the start of it as well.
No, listen to it all. I mean,
well, you give the discount details at the beginning, so you can just listen to that.
But once
bit
you're there, stay and listen to it all.
No, you know what it's going to be about, don't you? You don't need to listen to the rest of it. Actually, there's an advert in the middle, isn't there? So yeah, listen as far as the advert, then switch it off.
Great.
Well, peek behind the curtain for you there, everybody.
I temporarily forgot that it's now on our feed, so I was like, oh yeah, it's
like
actually a good
it's
thing.
putting roof over your head.
It's actually a great thing if you listen to
every single second of
it twice.
Yes.
In fact, I think everybody should be just like listening to these podcasts on repeat.
Just to
anyway,
bring you up to speed then, because it's the Easter weekend. We've had the midweek game. I've been away. We've come back. Short on
Leeds
time.
are staying up.
Turning it around. We'll do a full update on the news next week.
Jack Harris.
Yeah, when we've got a bit more breathing space to do so. But in the meantime, let's preview Palace then, as a very abridged version of this week's weekly show.
Have we heard from Woy?
We might have heard from Woy.
I think so, yeah. Some injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do a Hodgson voice?
Don't think so.
Oh.
Who is it that does it?
It's on Atletico Mints.
That's it, yeah.
Warhammer. That one.
But yeah, he said in his presser earlier on that Gator's out, Zaha out.
They're going to lose, aren't they?
Richards out, Ferguson out.
Yeah. No Zaha, no point. So good, all sorted. Leeds win, staying up.
It was a bit weird, was the game earlier in the season, wasn't it, down there? We were good for a bit, and then we were terrible when they just decided to bypass our midfield.
It was the Jesse Marsh plan in action, wasn't it? It was going well till it wasn't, and then we couldn't change it at all after that. They scored. Bamford missed a chance to make it 2-0, didn't he? That one where it was put through and he tried to use the outside of his left foot and he should have just used his right. And that was all very frustrating, but we were well on top, and then they scored from nowhere, and then the second half we were just playing shit.
I forgot that we'd gone ahead in this game. Big sexy plasterer, wasn't it?
And this was when we still thought Aronson was good too, because he did a lovely jinking run.
Aronson is good.
And then he shot at the post and came back to Pascal.
It's because of your agenda against the USMNT, isn't it?
That's it.
That, yeah,
exactly.
He's a funny little bird. Is Aronson, like a stray little starling?
Will he be picked off by an eagle this weekend?
Yeah, you sort of have that worry about him. I think I was watching him against Forest and had this thought, because there was lots of good interplay from Leeds players. They never seem quite able to work out where Aronson's going to be or what he's going to do. He's not quite gelled in, and you still don't know whether like what he is really like, because he's playing a lot further forward with Bamford as like a second striker kind of thing, but he's not got the Pabloing through ball stuff, and he's sort of there to maybe when Harrison or Sinisterra are coming off the wing, he's like to bounce a pass off, but they're not quite. Harrison, you'd expect him and Harrison to be getting on famously because they're both American. And they're both, played in MLS and have that shared experience, and you can imagine them getting on like really well. But even there, Harrison just doesn't quite be able to read what he's going to do. He's a funny little bugger. I don't write him off. I just worry about him.
I think he'll find his place in his own sweet time, Aronson. He just needs time for it to gel in terms of settled with the coach, settled in the team, settled in the area. As we were saying with over on propaganda, like with the likes of Furpo, everything just takes time, some more than others.
He's a very, very young man still.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well. He's Gelhardt age, isn't he? And I think there's he might be somebody who regrets perhaps the departure of Jesse Marsh, because having been coached by him at Salzburg previously and being brought here by him, probably for the best that he missed 6 months of Marcelo Bielsa, because I think it would have killed him. But it's all there to it's going to have been a big change. I wonder if he's played, because I don't know how we played particularly for Philly Union, what the style was there, but he was very much just Jesse Ball for quite a long time. So lots of changes for him.
It'll do him good to have some new ideas.
Yeah, I mean, there's
in the long term,
big wide world out there, isn't there?
Definitely, and
big wide pitch.
Big wide pitch. And what you do get is you get a lot of work rate, a lot of running from him, and
His scampering about is always impresses me.
Scampering. So Palace, they come to us, and it's been all changed since the fixture earlier in the season, where we had Jesse, and we don't have Jesse anymore. We have Harvey. They have Roy Hodgson. They don't have Vieira. Do we know what to expect from them?
Loads and loads of shots.
Yeah, that was a bit unexpected, wasn't
like
it?
a little John.
That was against Leicester, wasn't it? They've just had
little John Hodgson is in charge, just yelling about shots all the time.
Yeah, was it LMFAO who assisted Lil John?
Could well have been.
On shots.
Classic.
Classic of the genre, yeah.
Great lyrics.
They did have loads of shots, didn't they, in that last game? But you kind of associate Hodgson with being more defensive, don't you? Whether you just told them to go out there and shoot.
I mean, Hodgson, in fairness, would probably be quite happy to take a point in this because it'd keep them above us, and they've got easier games than this because they've got actually a piece of piss of a running of Palace. Because I know that was part of the question being asked about why they were sacking Vieira when they did, because he'd just come to a really tough run, and then they've got a fairly soft end to the season. So I think they would be quite happy with the points. So I would expect them to be sort of defensive, particularly when they don't have Zaha.
How tough was their run?
I mean, they didn't win for although I think they won 1 out of 17, so it can't have all been tough.
Was they beat Bournemouth, was it?
Yeah, they beat Bournemouth 2-0 away, and then the rest of them is defeats and draws, which isn't good.
No, we had a lot of those earlier in the season. They weren't good.
Yeah, it's a very sustained run of just badness. And it's weird because what he seemed, from what I could gather in the game against Leicester, one, it's at home, so I think that might be a factor. But when you've got a team, it's been a bit of a mystery. Zaha, Elise, Eze, all good attacking players. And I think he seemed to... The change, as far as I could tell, was they've got two in midfield, Doucouré and Schlupp. And he told them, stop trying to be the defensive midfielders that Vieira has wanted you to be. He's been trying to play with two in front of the defence. He said, just go and play further up the pitch. Suddenly, 25 shots, or however many they had against Leicester, 1 goal.
Leaving gaps for our boy,
2 goals, I suppose.
Aronson, to play in.
Well, yeah, it would be. That seems to be the main difference. It's, the main difference with Palace from last season is that they didn't get Conor Gallagher back, and they didn't get a player who could do what Conor Gallagher was doing, or at least in Vieira's mind. Hodgson perhaps is of the opinion that they can do some Conor Gallagher style stuff with the players they've got if they're not trying to play as a deep double pivot. Just go up the field and do some stuff there and give it to and I guess if they're further forward, it's easier for them to give the ball to Elise and not Zaha because of his groin anymore, and Eze because they're all nearer to each other instead of being far away.
Michael and I recorded the Phil Hay show before this, and Phil reckoned this was pretty much a coin toss. I'd be interested to know, how do you see it, Moscow? Is it going to be as tight as that? Is it a game? I think it's a game that's there to be won.
Did Phil offer to provide the coin?
No.
It's a joke about him being Scottish.
Yeah.
I don't know, because we've got one game of evidence from Roy Hodgson's Crystal Palace, and it was at home to a team who are so bad they're considering letting Jesse Marsh take over. So what do you do with that when they're going away to Elland Road? And then the big thing, and it is probably a big thing, not even a joke, no Zaha, they do tend to just fold up like a paper aeroplane. And paper aeroplanes are notoriously bad at winning football matches. So
I'm quite pleased with Zaha anyway, because he never seems to enjoy playing football anyway, does he? So
maybe we can have a bit of time off and do something.
Yeah, just do
a
something.
bit more.
Try and do something that he'll enjoy a bit more. Leaving the pitch in tears and looking injured is about the way I imagine him anyway. Just holding something and pleading at a ref, looking furious about it. I know Palace fans get very touchy about you criticising him for going down and moaning though. So he's a great lad, really.
And if they are playing that way, with trying to be a bit more attacking and make the most of the players they've got up front, I think that possibly helps us.
What gives us space to play in?
And we absolutely are favourites for the game.
we were favourites against Forest as well. And look how that turned out wonderfully.
I mean, we said this on the Phil Hay show, so we don't need to repeat it, but this gives you the huge opportunity to almost cement your place in this division this year.
Yeah, we're nearly there if we win this. We actually, genuinely, we are. We'd be another win off being safe, probably.
It's about a baseline as well, isn't it? Because the risk and comparing results to earlier in the season. So Southampton with Marsh, we drew with them away, and then we bring them to Elland Road with Gracia, and it's his first game, and we win. And then Nottingham Forest, we lose to them away, even though they were terrible. Jess Marsh, and then we come back to bring them to Elland Road, and we win, and win quite. It was tenser than it should have been. We were so much better than Forest. It was, and that's maybe what Gracia seems to be doing at the moment, is re-establishing Leeds United as being as good as we actually should be. And so beating Forest and doing what we should as well, because we had that thing. I was nervous before the Forest game because I saw how big favourites we were. The Forest were like 4-1, and I couldn't understand, even though I knew deep down that Forest were awful. I just didn't think that was sensible, that somebody would think we would be favourites for the game. And then we were loads better, and the team and the way we were so much better as well, with the commitment all the players were showing. Harrison putting in a great performance, everybody putting in a great performance. In fact, there's no reason to say anybody didn't. Strouk was great, Firpo was brilliant, Rocker and McKennie good in midfield, better than good. They were great. Everybody was good. So there was no. Everybody was like turning it on, working hard, making sure we won the match. So it's finding the level, and so beating Palace. I'm not thinking of it in terms of we're then one win away from safety, or we only need X number of points. It's that we're starting to be the team that wins the games that we should win. Mm. So if we beat Palace, who have we got coming after that? Liverpool. You suddenly start to have more faith in us. I mean, we were decent against Liverpool, but no, we weren't. Meslier won that game, didn't he? With like 10 brilliant saves, and then we stole it at the end. But we played pretty well, I suppose. But you go with a bit more confidence. But then Liverpool is kind of like beside the point of who's coming up after that. We play Fulham. You feel more confident that we're going to actually perform to our level against Fulham. Mm. It's not going to just be pissed away for stupid reasons. It's going to be a sensible performance from a good football team.
I was looking back at when we played Palace last at Elland Road. I actually couldn't believe this was the last time we played him. It feels like it was about 4 years ago.
When was it?
This game. It was the one where Rafinha got that penalty in the last minute. Mm. There was a handball and Rafinha slotted it away. But it was in the middle of December 2021, so it's because we've had 2 away games on the bounce. But God, that feels like years ago. I mean, looking at the team from then, it's Meslier, Cooper, Llorente. You've got Phillips in there. You've got Strouk. You've got Click, Forshaw, Rafinha, Dallas, James, Roberts. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of change.
Churn. A lot of churn.
Yeah. And I think this is a bigger conversation maybe for the summer when we know what's happening next. But it's like how much of that churn has been for the better, and how we deal with the fact that we've tried to do all this stuff for a manager that we've ended up sacking, and how whoever comes in sort of moves on from there. So I don't know if we'll.
Is this your Tyler Roberts agenda coming back in? Are you suggesting he should never have been sent out?
Nah, I'm just saying that who we've brought in is going to actually prosper under a new manager when they were brought specifically for this one. So it's going to be quite interesting times ahead. But we'll do it all in the Premier League because Leeds are staying up, which is very good news.
I hope we are. And this feels like a fairly decisive weekend of fixtures, doesn't it? And we ran through these again on the Phil Hay show, so probably don't need to repeat them all. But
nobody's listening to that. They're just going to get the discount code at the start and turn it off.
Very significant fixtures in so many areas: Man United, Everton, Forest at Villa. A lot of them, you look at them, and the big one at the bottom between two teams that are down there is Leicester, Bournemouth. So somebody's going to take points off somebody. Or both of them, maybe.
Draw.
But, draw's good there, isn't
Draw's good there.
That was the other surprising thing about midweek, is that we got all the results in other games.
Everything went for us, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if this is a portent.
Jesse Marsh has beaten Bournemouth this season, hasn't he? So if he does take the Leicester job, he'll go for that same 3-1 down blueprint.
You might show them that video.
He probably won't watch it back like he didn't watch the win over Man City.
It feels like you're not really
Am I just picking on Jesse for the sake of it?
Yeah, it feels
Probably
like
am, Anna.
you're not having him.
No, but I think it's absolutely fair game. Of course, you're going to pick on the Leicester manager.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
one of our rivals in the relegation battle. Fuck this guy.
Very true. What's your feeling about this? What do you think the atmosphere is going to be like at Elland Road? Confident, nervous? I've never liked the Sunday 2 o'clock kickoffs. It always feels flat. But it feels to me like if socials are anything to go by, that there's a renewed sense of optimism and hope going into all this now.
Because it's spring and it's Easter.
Yep.
I think there's a special offer there at Elland Road, isn't it? That if you bring a bag of chicks, then you can exchange them for like a pint, I think.
Yes, dead or alive.
Not alive, because we're talking about spring and renewal. You get free.
Oh, that's a scope of my plans of it.
Free pie with every newborn lamb that you bring to the game.
Well,
it's the opposite of the pie tax.
I just actually realised this Sunday, it's because it's the 4-day weekend and it's Easter, so nobody's at work on. Well, people are at work on Monday, but like generally speaking, it's not a working day that we're following this, so there might be a bit better atmosphere.
Yeah, you get there's no special offers if you turn up pissed out of your mind, but you'll be welcome.
But what I will say is, if we are winning and it's getting late on in the game, I think we're going to see Elland Road back to how we've seen it in the before times, before it all got a little bit fractious and nervous.
Well, that win against Palace, the Rafinha one, it was a good atmosphere. Like it was still a great atmosphere that season. I feel like it's been on hold a little bit this season. It's never got going, has it? I think Chelsea obviously was a high point, but that was so early. People have just forgotten about it. And since then, it's been edgy. Like Bournemouth, obviously a great win. People got into it, but it was still kind of awful for most of that game. So no one's ever fully enjoyed it for a while, I don't think.
How long does Easter Mass last?
What do you mean? Sorry,
Like on Sunday morning.
do you mean? Oh, okay, like the actual service.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were expanding it to be like Christmas.
It's a long old one, isn't it? So plenty of time to neck plenty of wine while you are celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Then more singing of more hymns in the afternoon at another church. There you go. Pissed up in the morning. It's the way to live.
That's how Michael normally is, anyway.
We were talking on the Extra Ball about Jake Humphrey's morning routines.
Yeah, 5:15.
This is the advice he fails to give people: is get up at 5 in the morning so that you can quietly write your list and reflect on the kind of person that you want to be. 5:15, crack open a bottle of wine and sing praise to God.
Get your vitamins early, tactical paracetamol, then get straight on the booze.
Sort of get a map so you can work out where you're going to steal some newborn chicks and lambs from to take to the game with you later. Get it all planned out.
Don't steal those, please. I should say.
And don't drink wine for breakfast.
Don't go robbing farms. Are you looking forward to
And if
Sunday?
you do rob a farm, don't take what you find to Elland Road.
Are you looking forward to Sunday?
Unless they're going to play. A couple of donkeys.
I am looking forward to it
Good.
because we could make ourselves like that close to being safe. Because it'd be different than last year. I know the league table's still very tight, but if there's loads of teams there, because last year we looked safe, but then like there was only Burnley in it really at that stage, and they just went on a daft winning run, which meant we were inevitably dragged in. Whereas if there's loads of teams there, they can't all win every week, can they?
This could be a weekend where Southampton and or Leicester/Bournemouth get cut adrift, essentially.
Yeah, we could do with Southampton just accepting the going down.
I think they're on the verge of it, surely, because they're going to need to put together a fairly sensational run now between now and the end of the season.
Southampton, don't get up at 5:15. Lay down and die. That's what I would advise you to do.
I mean, in the sense that not that they might not escape it, because they are capable of escaping it, albeit they are 4 points adrift now. But the fact that they are 6 points behind us with a vastly inferior goal difference means that when you're looking at teams that you're going to start ruling out that one, we could potentially be in a position to put a line through Southampton from our perspective anyway.
And obviously Wolves,
because they're playing Man City,
and Wolves are in 14th, but the FA they're dealing with them, aren't they?
Yeah.
I was on the phone with them earlier, the FA, and they were like, no, it's going to be sorted out. They will go down. We'll make sure of it.
Yeah.
So that's two of the places gone.
Cool.
So we're only trying to avoid one relegation place essentially.
I'm looking forward to Sunday because we've not dealt with whoscored.com's predictions of the game
We
yet.
probably don't need to, Moscow.
Well, but there is there's an interesting one because Crystal Palace is a significant, very weakness defending against attacks down the wings.
Swings, you say?
What better reason for sacking the new Leicester City manager could there have been than preparation for this very match, because they won't have a single clue what to do against Jackie, testimonial incoming Harrison, and Luis Sinistera. And then if they, we get to, we were talking before about how we were giving the players extra time against Arsenal just to get some match fitness. So we get to 4-0 by half time, and then just swap those two, Gnonto and Somerville can come on, make it 8.
Sounds good. Let's hope for a win. Let's hope for a nice day out. Yeah. Chicks and lambs and all that.
Yeah.
And there it is then. Was that a preview, or was that just a God, I hope we win? To be fair, they've all been like that this season, haven't we?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We can win it now, can't we? Because we're sort of normal.
What, the Premier League?
Probably not.
No.
Can we get into the Conference League?
I think let's
It's
walk,
unlikely,
let's
isn't
walk
it?
before we can run.
Yeah, 40th.
Do they still do like a disciplinary, like the fair play entry? So I don't know what our yellow card and red card count is like, but probably better than this time last year when Dan James started going mental.
I liked it in the old days of the Intertoto Cup where you had to apply for it, and eventually, if it went down far enough, no one wanted it. Eventually, Bradford
Bradford's
won it
got
one
it,
year,
yeah.
because they were like, no one else wants it. Yeah, fine, we'll have a go.
Go to the old days of the Intercities Fairs Cup, where you entry was determined on
Trade fair,
whether
yeah.
you had a trade fair in your city. So
Well, we've got the Leeds Year of Culture this year, haven't we? Which, I mean, we'll talk about in the newsy bit next week, the leaked yellow and pink kit that we think may be coming our way. And they're the brand colours from that. So we're kind of tight. We're tying it sort of back in to that, aren't we?
Or it's a coincidence.
Or there's that. Right, well, back on the match ball. A match ball, I think it's going to be a season-defining match ball on Sunday.
Unless we draw. Then it'd be like, oh, well.
Unless we draw, it'd be another one further down the line, won't there?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you then.
The Square Ball Podcast.